Hi, I'm Jay Hill. This is Dave Rutherford.
Jay.
And we're with you today to discuss the new pack-style buffalo project, which is a bid by a number of influential people to draw national attention to Western issues. And specifically, I think Western alienation issues of concern to Westerners that all Canadians should be aware of.
So is it a separatist movement?
No, I don't think so. Not at all. At least not at this point. But certainly it could go that direction if people in the rest of Canada don't start paying attention to the importance of these issues, not only for Westerners, but for all of Canada. You know, former Premier Brad Wall says he was involved, and he's becoming more involved because he's as incensed about many of these issues as other Westerners. And so, because every time he gets involved in something, well, people say, well, you know, maybe he's going to lead it. Maybe he's going to be the new president of Western Canada.
He keeps saying he's not going to be a politician anymore. He's done with politics.
But he wants to be involved because he recognizes the importance of these issues.
Well, you know what, Jay, I think this speaks to, we've talked about equalization, which for a lot of people is a boring topic. But I'll tell you what, I think equalization and eventually immigration are going to be two of the most fundamental things we're going to talk about in the next year in this country. I think this equalization story and this one about the Buffalo Project, call it whatever you want, I think these things are pivotal to the country's future. And now is the time. We have to address them.
That's right.
We have to. And I just, Brad Wall, I don't know where he is on this idea, but Jason Kenney, as we know, who we hope will be the next Premier of Alberta, has promised to put equalization to a referendum. Jay, can you imagine what that's going to sound like in this country? It is going to be divisive, controversial, but I think it's going to be fundamental to what's going on. So this project could dovetail nicely with that, I guess.
Well, I agree. And I think that what adds fuel to this is that just recently it was revealed that next year, instead of getting, a bit better than $12 billion out of equalization, Quebec is going to get about 13.4 or 3 or 2 or whatever it is, over 13 billion. So they got an increase because of this formula. You'll recall we've already done a show a number of months ago that is about the fact that Trudeau quietly renewed that program despite the pleas from Alberta and Saskatchewan and others saying, we want to revisit this. We want to take a look at this program of so-called equalization. So they're going to get a bigger slice of the pie this year.
For 5 more years.
Yeah, for 5 more years.
It's a 5-year deal that Trudeau secretly extended. So you're right about that. It's, it's basically welfare, isn't it? It is constitutionally mandated provincial welfare. One region of the country giving money to the other. And it's kind of perverse because it keeps the receiving provinces subservient to the system that gives them money. If you're Nova Scotia, why would you try harder to improve your health care or your infrastructure? Because the rest of Canada is going to give you money. So why bother, right? I mean, isn't that kind of what happens in this thing? And the money goes to governments, Jay. But governments are not the most efficient at delivering anything.
Well, unless you believe that they are, if you're socialist, which I guess you and I aren't, when we really consider.
If anybody's kind of noticed there's a theme to these shows, it's that we're not socialists. I don't think we like big government.
Anyway, the Buffalo Project, as I understand it, through other organizations are going to support other organizations like the Canada Action and Alberta Proud and organizations like that are already out there. They're already existing. So they're not going to reinvent the wheel, but they're going to make sure or try to ensure that the proper information about Western grievances are being made across Canada and people begin to understand why it is that Albertans aren't just whining about this price of oil, for example, or the equalization or any of these other issues that are of paramount importance to Alberta or to all of Western Canada. They're going to try to ensure that the facts, it's not false news or fake news. We're going to make sure that the facts reach Canadians. Yeah,
and we've talked about this before as well. Like in the Quebec sort of independence movement, it was about a lot of things. It was about language, culture, some religion thrown in. This is about economics. Alberta in the West is getting a raw deal. That's all there is to it. We're getting a raw deal and we want it fixed. I wonder though, there is this sort of separatism kind of conversation going on.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's happening in Saskatchewan and Manitoba the same way it is in Alberta. I don't know.
Well, maybe not to the same fever pitch as we see in a lot of Alberta, but the fact of the matter is it's growing, and I put the blame right at the doorstep of our Prime Minister. He is fueling Western alienation.
Absolutely.
He doesn't give a shit about Alberta and our oil issue. You know, despite what he tries to say, he could fix this tomorrow if he wanted to. We've discussed that. Yep. We'll continue to discuss it. We're going to continue to get the information out, but we're out of time for this program. And we want to thank you very much for watching. Yep. Make sure you hit the subscribe, become part of the conversation.